Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! It's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, two-run shot to right.
We welcome you to Joe Lang Field for the second round of South Jersey Group 1 action here in a hot Gloucester County Friday afternoon. It's the Pitman Panthers and the Maple Shade Wildcats in the 5-4 game, and this game could receive a lot of attention from the South Jersey community, especially for Group 1 fans, because, well, this is the only game that hasn't been decided yet. Audubon shut out Buna in the 1-9 game, and then in the other two games, Shalleck beat Glassboro and Woodstown upset Pennsville. So out of the 4 games remaining, this is the only one that hasn't been played. It was supposed to be played at 6 o'clock yesterday at Alcyon Park. I drove by, rain wasn't looking too pretty, and indeed it wasn't. They were using propane tanks today to try to dry Alcyon Park that is, but they couldn't get it done in time, and instead we're playing at the Pitman JV field, which has hosted a number of Pitman games over the years, including our first game of the season. We were out in left center field when Millville beat Pitman 6-3, including a good game from Brady Middlecoff. However, today's focus is on the Wildcats and the Panthers. The last time these two teams played, we were here. It was at Alcyon Park, but it was the second DWB broadcast we had done for Pitman, and they're going to do the national anthem, so we'll stay on the air for that, and we'll bring you starting lineups and first pitch in just a moment. Out Clayton 12-0 in the first round as the 5 seed, advancing to the second round to play the Panthers for the first time since 2023. They've got Cole Mulcahy in the leadoff spot, but Nick Watson is the star of the show for Pitman this afternoon. He comes into this game as we'll flip it over to the main board. He's a St. Augustine transfer who came in 2 years ago, and he says that he enjoys the small town area and he enjoys the small town vibes. Well, he's only given up 3 runs this year, and he hasn't had too many strikeouts, but a sub-1 ERA is exactly what he wants. He may be a little bit different in terms of style from Maple Shade starter Connor Stratton, but either way, I think it'll serve him well to be a big part of the rotation for Pitman, as you know, they had some good matchups with Aiden Stranahan starting the first game versus Gateway, as that's what they've got on the board this afternoon. For Maple Shade, let's take a look at their starting lineup presented by Harper Driving School. For the Wildcats, led by 6th-year head coach Michael Webb, it is Cole Mulcahy at shortstop. Preston Carey, the commit to Eastern University, is at third. The power slugger Alex Morales is at third base. We saw him homer in our second game of the season versus Bordentown on March 25th. a long time ago, over 2 months to be exact. Nick Stanton is the catcher, Chase Blum the DH, Aaron Wells in left. Connor Stratton with 100 strikeouts this season, bats 7th. Eddie Leahy in right, and Braden Donia in left field. Mike Smith takes the right field spot. Watson will face Mulcahy, the shortstop, to lead us off in the 5-4 matchup of South Jersey Group 1. Again, hosted at Pitman's JV field. Had a lot of changes going into today. Supposed to be played yesterday at 6, then it was yesterday at 2, and then ended up being today at 2 at Joe Lang Field as Nick Watson is waiting for his outfielders to get adjusted. Here from a hitter-friendly ballpark, Watson, first pitch is inside, and we're underway here in Pitman. Mulcahy, the senior shortstop, takes a fastball for a strike, 1-1. 333 hitter for Mulcahy, 1 home run, 16 for 48. That one's high. Got a strike that time, 2-2. Maple Shade, after losing in the first round to Woodstown, 3-1 in the first round. There's a ground ball out the third. It's picked up. Stranahan's going to have a tough play. Throw to first is high. Got speared by Engstrom to hang on to it, but it is an infield single for Cole Mulcahy. As a tough play down the first base line, or down the third base line, check that, gives Maple Shade their first hit of the day. So here's Preston Carey. Carey in the 2 slot, committed to Eastern University. Got a strike called. Joe Lang Field a little bit more preferable to the pitcher as compared to Alcyon Park. 330 to left with a 12-foot fence. It's either 10 or 12 all the way around. 300 down the right field line, so a 30-foot difference between left field and right. On opening day, Nick Watson homered versus Millville. Back when we were out in the outfield, we talked to John Hopley today. I said, can we set up behind the plate? And he said, yeah, we don't want to get eaten alive. With all the bugs coming around in summertime, throw back to first, not in time. Ground ball, third base side. Stranahan calls for it. They turn it around the horn. Throw to first is not in time. They'll get a 5-4 fielder's choice. It replaces the runner with Carey taking over there, as Alex Morales will be the batter. He homered versus Bordentown. We saw him and Maple Shade on March 25th in a BCSL matchup up there. A little bit further away from home, but Morales homered to tie the game off of Connor Calora. Really good Bordentown team. They are the 14 seed in Central Jersey Group 2, and that Central Jersey Group 2 bracket is just wild. Absolutely wild. A 14 versus 11 game with Bordentown and Allentown, and it would be hosted by Allentown until the rain got bad enough to where they said, yeah, we're going to do it at Bordentown. That one is fouled back. Like we said, this game's got a lot of implications because pretty much all of South Jersey Group 1 is going to be watching this game because this is the last one to be decided in the second round. Audubon, Buna, Glassboro, Shalleck, and Pennsville, Woodstown all played yesterday. That one's high. How about Alex Morales as well? I mean, he's just got all that kind of swagger. He came in, that's at least 3 or 4 buttons undone on that jersey. Here's the pitch. That ball's hit well out to left field. This one's going over for Snyder. He'll make the catch. Retreating back to first is Carey. That'll be out number 2 for the catcher, Nick Stanton. But Got a good barrel on that one. Just couldn't get it to stick, though, and the freshman Carter Snyder made the play out and left. Watson versus Stanton. Down at the knees, 1-0. First three for Pitman in the bottom half will be Hudson Rue, Nick Watson, and Aiden Stranahan. They commit to Camden County College under Coach John Scanzano. Going to be 2-0 here. A late appeal says no. So an infield single, a fielder's choice, and then a fly out to left. We've got 2 away in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. Stanton got way on top of it. It's going to roll on the line. It's a foul ball. That ball was foul, and then it just danced along the line. And it was barely foul by the time Stranahan touched it. Would have been a base hit, but that line is also a little bit wonky as well, just looking at it from our angle. I mean, there's a better look at it. Maybe it looks a little bit better on camera than it is in person, but if anything, just food for thought. Here's the pitch. Runner goes. There's a strike called. Sharrow pump faked. Now the count's 2-2. I wonder if Sharrow pump faked on the throw because he thought it was strike 3. He might have gotten confused. As Watson and Sharrow are going to talk things over again. Watson with a sub-1 ERA. It's a hot one today in Pitman. If the sun is out, everything is just baking. And right now, just Nick Stanton trying to get home the first run of the day for the Wildcats with a runner on second. Strike 3 called on the inside corner, and the inning is over. Maple Shade gets a hit, but nothing more. Watson strikes out 1, and he'll get to bat in the 2 slot in the bottom of the first inning. Connor Stratton is the pitcher for Maple Shade. He has the rare distinction of a 100 strikeout season. Let's take a look at his stats here. He's got a ERA right around the median line, but, I mean, he's just been that good. We've seen him so many times this year. Saw him versus Bordentown, struck out 12. Can't be mad at starting Connor Stratton in a playoff game, and that's exactly what he's got. As Hudson Rue, the Messiah commit, will be the batter. Let's take a look at what Pitman's got in their order, presented by Pitman's own Harper Driving School. Hudson Rue is the shortstop, leading us off. You've got Nick Watson, the pitcher, batting second. Camden County commit Aiden Stranahan in the 3 slot. Jackson Austin takes the cleanup spot in right field. He's a Salem Community College commit. Drew Keefe at second, Jake Sharrow at the catcher's spot. As Rue hits it out to left field, it's up there, it's back, it's off the bottom of the wall. It's going to roll all the way around. Here goes Rue like a horse out to second base. He gets in there standing. And Hudson Rue barrels up Connor Stratton on the first pitch and gets a double. As we said, though, Jake Sharrow, Jude Engstrom, Dane Collum, and the DH freshman Carter Snyder rounding out the order for the Panthers. Like we said, these two teams have one prior matchup against each other, and we were there for it. May 12th, 2023. Pitman winning that game 12-2 in 6 innings, including a big 3-run home run by Kyle Kubat, the former quarterback for Pitman, who I believe is now at University of Tennessee, if I remember correctly. Here's the pitch. Fastball, got Watson to cave there. 0-2 here. Watson homered to left in the last time we were at Joe Lang Field on March 24th. Got a couple fastballs that ran in, and Stratton got the better of them. Here's Stranahan now. That's strikeout number 101 this season for Connor Stratton, and it's his 163rd of his career. I mean, it's incredible what he's been able to do. We talk about pitchers who have 100 strikeouts across 4 seasons as a great accomplishment. I mean, this kid's done it in 3, and he's done 101 season. He's also got 50 innings under his belt, so that helps, obviously. Rue on second, 1 away, bottom of the first inning. The winner of this game plays Audubon. Audubon, the 1 seed in both baseball and softball this season, beat Buna 4-0 in their second round game after downing Paulsboro 12-1 in the first round. Maple Shade had a similar first round win over Clayton 12-0. I haven't done too much research on Clayton lately. I don't know if the Monera brothers are still there, but they were one of my favorite parts of watching them play. Especially made a very good Tri-County Classic division. I mean, it's been very good this year. Pitman, Pennsville. I would like to see Woodstown get added to the Tri-County Classic at some point. You know, I think Woodstown-Pitman always creates some really good matchups. Because Pitman and John Hopley, who's in his 5th year as a head coach, they're never afraid to schedule good teams. I mean, Pitman at this point, for how much they've scheduled Colonial Conference teams for baseball, they might as well be honorary members. Out of the 10 schools that played baseball or have a baseball program in the Colonial in 2024, Pitman played 8 of them. That was the bulk of their non-conference schedule, as there's a swing and a miss. It's 2 outs. Thought maybe Pitman would have a little bit more in them with Rue's double, but they haven't been able to replicate that just yet. Of course, Maple Shade led by 6th-year head coach Michael Webb. We've seen them 3 times this year. A 3-2 loss versus Bordentown on March 25th. A 6-3 win in our debut at the Trenton Thunder Stadium on a brisk. Imagine that it was less than 2 months ago that game was 42 degrees. And now we're sitting low 80s today. Austin gets jammed, but it's going to go to right. It's up there, and it stays up long enough to retire the side. Stratton gives up an early double with 2 strikeouts and a jammed fly ball, end the threat. Through 1 here at the Lang. No score. Top of the second inning, we've got no score here at Joe Lang Field. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex at 614 Lambs Road. Specifically from Joe Lang Field, you make a left on Esplanade Avenue, then you go on, I think that's Holly over there. Make a right on the Broadway, make a left on Lambs Road, and where do you find yourself? You find yourself at Harper Driving School. It's a swing and a miss. But it's always fun covering Pitman because every time I do a Harper Driving School ad read, I have to look around for Tim Rue and where he may be lurking today. That one's high. The boys golf head coach at Williamstown. Got a very good program over there. There's strike three. Watson picks up his second strikeout. And Wells is the batter after Chase Blum strikes out looking. It's Blum, Wells, and Connor Stratton. We talk about three sport athletes a lot of times in the Group 1 environment. Watson himself is a football athlete, a big running back for Pitman. Several of the players on the diamond here as well. I mean, Rue, three-sport athlete in football as the wide receiver and kicker. Basketball as a big point guard, and then a shortstop-pitcher combination for the Panthers. Connor Stratton, though, is a different story. He's a three-sport athlete in boys soccer, bowling, and baseball. There's a ground ball out towards second base. Picked up, throw to first is in time. Engstrom got him by a step on a good play. And there's two away. As here's Stratton. But usually the most conventional three-sport combination is football, basketball, and baseball. Well, how about soccer, bowling, and baseball? He averaged a 177.5 in his games with Maple Shade this season. And as the goalkeeper for Maple Shade in boys soccer, had 80 saves in 16 games played. But that's not a combination you see a lot, bowling and baseball. Strike is called. 1-1 to count to Stratton. But Stratton with 102 strikeouts after his two that he picked up in the first inning. Tried to drag a bunt, and he couldn't get it there. 1-2. Strike three. That will retire the side as Wildcats go down in order. Pitman will look to get some offense of their own after a scoreless inning and a half here at Joe Lang Field. Drew Keefe is the batter to lead off the bottom of the second. We've got a busy week ahead on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Tomorrow's a big day for us. It's our first ever pro soccer game on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We travel down to Stockton University for a matchup between FC Monmouth and Atlantic City FC. Start time is 3 p.m., again being played at Stockton's turf. We have 3 games scheduled with Atlantic City FC this season, including on July 12th and July 19th. You can find more information on Atlantic City FC by going to atlanticcityfc.com. They're in their first season with the league for clubs, and they're 1-0-1 this season. A 7-1 win on opening night over Kensington, and then a 0-0 draw to First State FC out of Delaware last week. Swing and a miss by Keefe. For the Panthers, it'll be 5, 6, and 7. Keefe, Sharrow, and Engstrom. And the pitch. Keefe rings that one foul off the chain link fence. And it's quickly 0-2. Pitman this season had an interesting journey to get where they are now in the 4 seed, as that one is outside. As we set a record of 16-8 going into this season. They started out 1-2 with losses to Millville and Vineland. They probably would be a little bit higher if they won those games even early in March. Those were the first games of the season, and John Hopley had scheduled Vineland and Millville originally as scrimmages, but with the NJSIAA changing their scheduling rules, they played them both as regular season matchups, and they lost both, 6-3 to the Thunderbolts and 4-3 to the Fighting Clan. They then had a great 5-game stretch from April 10th to April 18th, which included big PowerPoint wins over Williamstown and Timber Creek. But that 5-game win streak, they allowed no more than 1 run in each of those games. As coming back from 0-2, Keefe gets a couple of pitches outside and he'll draw a walk. Now Sharrow, catcher, will be the batter here for Pitman. But not only is it 5 games in 8 days, they played Salem, Haddon Township, Wildwood, Williamstown, and Timber Creek. And again, as we said, allowed no more than 1 run in each of them. 2 of those 5 were shutouts to Salem and Wildwood. The last game that Pitman played versus Wildwood was a 10-0 win on May 14th that included a 30-minute fog delay because of how dense the fog was on the peninsula. But Wildwood is actually rejoining the Cape Atlantic League for all sports in 2026. So the upcoming school year will be the last for Wildwood in the Tri-County. They originally left because of football reasons. They left because before super conferences were really a thing, the WJFL didn't come around until 2010. It was really difficult for Wildwood to find opponents because there's not a lot of Group 1 schools down there. There's a lot of big schools like Egg Harbor, Absegami, Vineland, everybody in the Great Egg Harbor district. And then, of course, closer to Cape May, you've got Lower Cape May, which is a Group 2. Middle Township is a Group 2, but there's a difference between a Group 2 like Middle or Lower and a Group 1 like Wildwood, which had maybe half of the students that I had. And I went to Audubon. My graduating class with 124. I think theirs was consistently under 100. Time called by Sharrow. But by the time that Wildwood had moved to the Tri-County in 2003, and by the time they were pretty solidly in there, at least 7 or 8 years into their membership, the WJFL was created and mostly all was forgotten. That one's fouled back, and that got a good piece of Sharrow. 1-2 is the count to Sharrow. Sharrow standing at 5'6", 5'6", 170. The senior catcher, 152 hitter this year, 3 extra base hits, 10 hits, 10 RBIs in 66 at-bats. Sharrow pops it up. This one's over the infield. It's all dirt out here in Joe Lang, so we'll see who's got it. Morales lets it drop. Now they've got to throw to second, and it's in time. And honestly, with Sharrow being the slower runner, that whether that was intentional or not, it still got the job done. And honestly, that might have been the better move. They pick up the out and they get the runner. Now the rule is that you cannot intentionally drop the baseball by hitting it with your glove. You can't, let the glove fail to squeeze and then drop the ball that way. You are allowed to drop the ball if you don't touch it. And in that case, it worked out perfectly. Judging by the reactions in the Maple Shade dugout, that was definitely not intentional, but it ended up working out with Morales picking up a 5-6 fielder's choice there off the bat of Sharrow. Here's Engstrom, another senior. This is outside. Some good command here from Stratton. I mean, he let up a leadoff walk, and he's got a good fastball mix, but sometimes his changeup and his curveball, just can be a little bit off the mark sometimes. But I think after Hudson Rue barreled him up and took him out to the left center gap, now things are shifting around a little bit. Here's a back pick. Throw to first is not in time. A diving attempt at first base. And safe or not, a valiant effort at first by Eddie Leahy. But it's funny, this is the 12th time we've covered Maple Shade athletics. They've all been on the road. We've only seen the blue and yellow in their visiting counterparts, but they've got no score here in the bottom of the second inning. Again, Keefe got a leadoff walk, and then Sharrow was pushing everybody over with a 5-6 fielder's choice, and that'll be a free pass, second of the inning. So here's Collum now, the junior, another football player for Pitman, just trying to figure out a way to, kind of alleviate the situation, because right now what Stratton's working with here is 2 runners on in a scoreless game, but it's not like it's a random Friday in April. This is the playoffs on the line. This is a season. This is, an entire year's worth of work by Webb and his assistants and his team to get back going after a first-round playoff loss to Woodstown. Maple Shade this year 12-9 in the BCSL Independence Division. Some changes were made to the BCSL structure-wise. Some teams, first of all, joined them, Penn Tech being one of them, moving from the Olympic. If I recall correctly, Penn Tech was only in the Olympic for baseball, so moving back to the BCSL kind of molded things together, but Webb will come out and talk to his right-hander, Connor Stratton. Again, like we said, tomorrow we'll be covering our first ever pro soccer game between FC Monmouth and Atlantic City FC in the League for Clubs. And then on Sunday, we open up our Tri-County baseball schedule. We'll be back in Burlington County for a matchup in the North Division between the Burlington Township Pirates and the Cinnaminson Crew. The Cinnaminson Crew are a new team led by former Cinnaminson player Ryan Horner, who's currently at Gwinnett Mercy. And then on Monday, we're back down near home. It's the Pine Barrens Phantoms and the Washington Township Senators from Washington Township on Monday at 6:15 p.m. And then for everybody that's asking, unfortunately, no, we will not be doing a sectional semifinal. If we have a sectional finals that's in our ballpark somewhere, yes, but unless rain or anything else moves anything back from Tuesday, I'm going to be out of town Tuesday at a concert, so unfortunately, no baseball for us that day. Strike called to Collum, almost perfectly at the belt. 1-1 count. Pitman looking to get the ice broken, and certainly on a hot day like this, they could certainly use some of it. No score in the bottom of the second inning. Collum shows bunt, pops it straight up. Here he goes. Stanton's got it. Does he have a play? He does not. He surveyed the diamond for options, and a pop out to the catcher. It'll be a P2 in the book. Brings up Snyder, the 9-hitter. They are going to run for Sharrow, a courtesy runner. It'll be number 13, Peyton Miller. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's number 19. I am corrected. It is Blaine Ackerman. 2 on, 2 out. 3 of 4 base runners, 3 or 4 batters have reached base for Pitman in the second. Strike called on the outside corner. Stratton with 2 Ks, both of them in the first inning, bringing his season total up to 102. He was at exactly 100 going into this playoff start. I mean, that mound definitely does look a little bit higher up, kind of like a Kingsway mound. That one's popped up over our heads. Please don't hit my car. It does not. Lands into the street. That's the risk you take with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It did hit somebody's roof, but it's not mine. I think John Hopley was smart. He parked all the way in the back. But this is what I like about Pitman. You know, I've only been doing games here for about 2 years now, and everybody knows everybody. I'll tell you what, that fastball knows the strike zone, though. Stratton's got 3 Ks through 2 innings, and the Wildcats force 2 runners to be left on base. We're through 2. It is no score.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Eddie Leahy is the batter in the top of the third. No score through 2 here at Joe Lang Field. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. Visit today or 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon. Leahy, Donia, and Mulcahy. 8, 9, and 1 for the Wildcats in the top of the third, but no score yet as there's a strike called. All of the quarterfinal games in South Jersey Group 1 ended up being pretty tame in terms of score. Only team to score 7 runs or more was Shalleck. They beat Glassboro, the 10 seed, 7-2. Audubon shut out Buna 4-0, a rematch from the 2023 Group 1 final, as Buna was the 9 seed. I mean, Buna has really turned the corner. I didn't know how hard they were going to fall after all of their, fifth-year seniors left in 2023. But Dan Carignato took over, and he was the 9 seed in 2024, beat Haddon Township in the first round, and then did the same in 2025, except his opponent was Palmyra. Here we go. Watson delivers. Dribbled foul towards the Panther dugout. They'll keep fighting here. Everybody trying to find different ways to cool off. This Friday afternoon, probably the first real hot day of the year and the first of many. This one's popped up over our heads and out of play. It's a splash zone over there, I'll tell you that. It's a splash zone. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. They will say it stayed up, so he is down on strikes. And Leahy is Watson's 5th strikeout of the afternoon. So now here is Donia, the batter. Donia showed bunt, got the strike called. It's 0-1. I think the biggest thing here for Maple Shade is you just kind of have to lay one piece of foundation before you can get on the board here. You know, Watson is going to be very difficult to hit. He's got a sub-1 ERA. He's used to pitching on that mound because this is more or less the backup field for Pitman, for lack of a better term. So with him being used to playing on this field, that's more of an advantage than you think it is. It's off of Watson's glove, barehanded by Rue, couldn't get the play down. It's a base hit as it takes a couple of caroms in the meantime, and the 9-hitter, Braden Donia, gets himself a base hit. It's Maple Shade's 2nd of the game, and now Cole Mulcahy will be the batter. Mulcahy steps in as the shortstop. He's singled in the infield. Both of Maple Shade's hits have been of an infield variety today. Strike called. As we were saying about Connor Stratton, a 4-year varsity athlete for Maple Shade Bowling, a career-high game of 258, a career-high series of 689. Easily put up his best numbers versus STEM Civics back in January, put up a 689 series, including very good numbers of 222, 258, and 209. But yeah, any of you South Jersey folks out there, if you know a bowling coach, let's get some bowling broadcasts going. And Maple Shade's team was very good, 14-5-1. Looks like their home arena was the Hamilton Lanes. And they had a couple good winning streaks before losing in the semifinal round of South Jersey Group 1 to Camden Catholic. Mulcahy ready to go. Here's the pitch. That one is down, and the runner does get down to second. A hard slide, but he gets in there. And Maple Shade, for the first time today, is the runner in scoring position. Count is full. Not really anywhere Watson can hide here. I don't think he can afford to walk him with the big 3 of Carey, Morales, and Stanton coming up. Grounds it foul into the Pitman dugout. This is one of those situations where even though first base is unoccupied, I don't think you want him there. Because, again, you've got Carey, you've got Morales, and you've got Stanton. All 3 of those guys can do damage. So, you know, I don't know how easy it's going to be for any of them to replicate this good at bat here. 3-2 still. Swing and a miss. He got him. It's a half dozen. A big swing by Mulcahy, and now Preston Carey, the commit to Eastern University in Pennsylvania, will be next. No score in the top of the 3rd. Watson with 6 strikeouts in 2 2/3. He's been red hot. Here's the first pitch. Strike called right above the belt. And it's 0-1. Maple Shade, the 5 seed in South Jersey Group 1, downed Clayton, the 12 seed, 12-0 to advance to where they are now. Pitman had a bit of a harder time. They beat Gateway, the 13 seed, 4-0. Although Gateway's a team that they are certainly familiar with, played them in the the Joe Lang Classic for the last several years as the inning is over. Nick Watson, 7 Ks. He's turned Maple Shade upside down, and now the Panthers will look to reciprocate that with the bats. We'll be right back.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Hudson Rue leads us off at the top of the order for Pitman in the bottom of the third. The attendance is about to get a lot higher here. Pitman just let out. It's kind of weird to say, like, you know, oh yeah, school just let out. Usually that comes first, but I don't know why they decided to start today at 2. I think there is some rain coming later tonight, so they may be trying to beat that. The original schedule was Thursday at 6 p.m. We were going to have a doubleheader with Cherry Hill East and Kingsway at 1, and then the second game being this at Alcyon Park at 6. But I drove by it yesterday and I drove by it today. Just didn't look good. Didn't look, obviously I think an altered infield can convolute things a little bit, but these guys are still playing. Rue took Stratton for a ride on the first pitch, lined a double out to left center field. One of the interesting quirks of this ballpark, not only the 30-foot difference between the left field foul pole and the right field foul pole, but also a gap in center field where the two fences meet. That was discussed in the ground rules, and it would be a ground rule double. But you could see, yeah, that's just a big gap in center field as Rue swings and misses. Be 2 strikes against him now. Two balls, 2 strikes from Stratton to Rue. That ball's hit well out. Actually, it's popped up right field side. I got fooled a little bit. It's going to drop for a fair ball, though. It runs past the right fielder. And Rue, it's going to be 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. Hudson Rue gets a nice little blooper down the right field line and gives Pitman a little bit extra to work with here for Watson. Hudson Rue is at third. John Hopley's trying to argue that time was never called. I definitely saw it. Yeah, Hopley was trying to say that nobody called time. Rue ended up getting the third, but the home plate umpire is saying that the runner will go back to second. Stanton and Watson kind of confused on everything as well, so Hopley trying to figure things out. 6th-year head coach, or 5th-year head coach, excuse me, for Pitman after the double, but they'll send Rue back to second. The convincing was unsuccessful, and now Watson will be the batter in the 2 slot. So Rue on second base with Stratton ready to go. Back to Watson here in a 2 slot. Struck out swinging his first time. Ooh. Just above the knees there. Watson, a .411 hitter with 7 home runs this year, including 4 in the first 2 weeks of the season. It went out of play up on the hill where there's a whole bunch of tires. Had 1 home run as a junior and then really got the bats going as a senior. .411 hitter, .836 slugging, 7 homers, 13 RBIs. Most recent home run was versus Overbrook on May 12th. Stratton ready to go after the foul ball down the left field line. Running pretty tight this afternoon, I'll tell you that much. And the disadvantage is that that is not doing Maple Shade any favors because Stanton is, he's framing the fastballs pretty well. It's a ground ball out towards first. It's backhanded. They will defer to Stratton. And that is the first out of the third. It now puts Maple Shade on the hot seat, though, as Rue, who moved the third and then was demanded to move back, now ends up getting third on his own terms. As we were saying, some students checking in here as the final bells have rung on their Friday. Vincent and I were talking in the break, our producer for the day. I said, you know, I was looking back at all the kids, and I honestly forgot that because we've been out of college for 3 weeks now. I mean, not to rub it in anybody's faces, but I do appreciate not having to be in a, in a classroom in the middle of June. I do like that freedom now. Stranahan did not go. Stranahan will be followed by the cleanup man, Jackson Austin. Stranahan and Austin both committed to local community colleges here in South Jersey. Stranahan committed to Camden County College, which has easily had their best season in a long time under Coach John Scanzano. In his 3rd year there after leaving King's Christian High School, or the King's Christian School, excuse me, in Independent. And the pitch. Another one fouled back. Look out below. Well, they sent one man out there to get the foul ball, and now he's got to go chase another one. You might as well give him a glove and have him stand back there. But I'm telling you, he's going to hit one so far it's going to land on Mama Marie's roof. Maybe it'll knock out one of the letters on Broadway. Here's the pitch. Outside. Infield thought differently. Counts 2-2. We said it yesterday. Coach saying a really good spot is kind of their way of saying that, yeah, probably should have gone the other way. But we'll see what happens here. 2-2. Fastball line into left field. That will drop. It will get Rue home. Stranahan's got an RBI single. He is going to go to second. He's going to try to beat it out. He does. Ball had trouble getting into the infield. It's an RBI for Aiden Stranahan, scoring Hudson Rue. And it's 1-0 Pitman as they break the stalemate here in the bottom of the third. So here is Jackson Austin. Again, Austin committed to Salem Community College, home of the Mighty Oaks. A 600-win head coach in John Holt. He's been there for a long time. They reached the NJSIAA Region 19 Final Four. And they actually beat the 2-time national champion, now 3-time repeat national champions, RCSJ Gloucester. Beat them in 12 innings in the first game of that Final Four. But Camden and Salem both have very bright futures in Region 19 baseball. And now that I've spent a season covering JUCO baseball, I mean, it's a really underappreciated product. You know, we talk about D3 commits and D1 commits, but JUCO is a way for a lot of these kids to get themselves figured out a little bit as they graduate high school. The transition from high school to college is not easy by any means. This one's going to go out of play, but one of the biggest things that I advocate for JUCO is that, you know, listen, there is an abundance of talent at every turn. You know, I look at our CSJ Gloucester. You've got R.J. Mestero. He's headed to Monmouth. Landon Edwards was a transfer from Coastal Carolina. Kai Hutchins was a transfer from Manhattan University in New York, another Division I program. Like, there's, whether you're a JUCO D1 or D3, there's talent everywhere. Austin flies it to right. Could be trouble. It is caught. Stranahan on his wheels. He goes to third, stop standing. That moves the runner over for the second out of the inning. So now here's Drew Keefe. Well, the big thing here for Maple Shade, leave that damage to 1 and limit the damage. Because now they've got an opportunity to really get the bat swinging off of Watson in the top of the 4th with Morales, Stanton, and Blum. I mean, Morales, I saw him hit one of the longest home runs I've seen this season versus Bordentown. He almost hit the football field out there. But I do love Bordentown's complex. They've got one of the best. I mean, it's just basically a plot of turf, and all the fields are stacked on top of one another. Keefe walked in his last at-bat. That one's high and in. 2-1 here. They've got a runner on third in Stranahan, who singled out to left field for the RBI. And he's now 90 feet away from scoring on his own volition. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him back there, and it's 2-2. Kind of, that's what I like to call the old chin music deception there. He ran him up and in that time on the fastball and then got one in a relatively easy spot and got the strike called because Keefe didn't want to swing. And was outside 3-2. It's kind of like that whole controversy with Spencer Strider and Bryce Harper. All the Phillies fans got upset with Spencer Strider. He was trying to do that exact same thing. He ran him a little bit up and in, and then Keefe doesn't swing on the next pitch, gets a good call right on the outside corner. Except in Strider's case, he missed and hit Harper. Here's the 3-2. Keefe popped up. Stanton going over. He's deep down the first base line. Leahy makes the catch, and the inning is over. Damage is limited to 1 run on an RBI single by the Camden County commit, Aiden Stranahan. Alex Morales will lead us off, the big fella, in the top of the 4th inning as Maple Shade looks to get on the board.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Welcome back in the top of the 4th inning. It's Pitman 1, Maple Shade 0. It's time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, who is the only switch hitter in Major League history to have both 300 career home runs and a 300 or better career batting average? Is it A, Jose Ramirez, B, Francisco Lindor, C, Mickey Mantle, or D, Chipper Jones? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. I would ask a gentleman in the orange shirt. He's the athletic director. Here's Morales. Morales gets a strike called. Again, Morales to be followed by Stanton and Blum, the DH, up above the letters. Morales missed all of last year due to a torn MCL. That one's hit down the right field line, going over, diving, it drops. It is foul. Excellent hustle by Jackson Austin down the right field line. It just dropped. And Morales will have to try again. He's got 2 home runs this year. The other versus New Egypt in a 9-8 win in 8 innings towards the end of the regular season. But, I mean, listen, you know, Morales has had a very, very interesting career. He missed all of last year due to a torn MCL. Started out at PVI as a freshman, came to Webb and the Wildcats, which, by the way, will make a great 70s funk band name, Webb and the Wildcats. Joined him his sophomore year. Oh, he just got hit. He's pumped up about it, though. It'll hurt now, but a little bit later, if he comes around to score, he'll be happy about it. Nick Stanton, now the batter. But either way, Morales, his ability to get on base, even for a guy that, you know, might not have leadoff man speed, he's somebody that in the middle of that order, he fits that prototype perfectly. He's got power, he's got good contact, he's your all-around guy. Strike called to Stanton at the numbers. Stanton struck out his first time. There's been 7 for Nick Watson through 3 innings today. That's a line drive. Spears past Watson into center field. It's a base hit. Picked up by Collum. And it'll be a base hit for Nick Stanton to bring up Chase Blum. As 2 on, nobody out. And then Wells, the left fielder, will be the batter in the on-deck circle. Michael Webb still over at third base. I'm a little bit surprised they're not going with a courtesy runner, but might not matter in this situation. Strike called. Blum also struck out his first time to start the second. Watson, when we saw him on March 24th, through 1 inning. In a start by Hudson Rue. That one's a bunt. It's a beauty. It's going to roll. It's going to stay. Bases loaded. Maple Shade has loaded the bases. And by a hair, it stays fair. Down the third base line. I mean, if there's any reason why a dirt infield would be a benefactor for today's game, it would almost certainly be because of that. Beautiful bunt by Chase Blum, and now he sets up the bases loaded for Aaron Wells. Wells grounded out to second his first time. Strike called. Wells, the junior, 264 hitter this season. 4 extra base hits, 8 RBIs, and a swing and a miss makes it 0-2. 6 stolen bases and a .377 slugging percentage. Wells steps out. Next up would be Connor Stratton, the pitcher. That one's down. 1-2. Watson, the pitch. That one's dribbled. It's in play. Sharrow's got it. He's waiting for it to roll, and it's a foul ball. Everybody moved up, but a smart play by Jake Sharrow to let it stay keeps the at-bat alive. And honestly, Maple Shade having to run up and back again could be another positive for Pitman here. 2 hits this inning. Stanton had a liner back up the middle. Blum had the slowest of slow bunts down the third base line, and now Wells looking to take advantage of it with the bases loaded. Maple Shade 12-9 this year, 6 wins in the BCSL. They're going to say yes. That is 1 away, but now it sets up Stratton, which he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder considering that he's got to help his own cause here. And if there's any time for him to do it, it's right now. He's got the bases loaded and 1 out. Facing Watson, who just picked up his 8th strikeout of the afternoon. From the stretch. Strike called right down the middle. Can't get any easier than that, but Maple Shade has been reluctant at best to swing at the first pitch. I think that they've been taking a very conservative approach against Watson. If there's time for them to change that approach, it's now. Low, 1-1. That was right at the kneecaps that time, maybe a little bit lower than that. Stratton, the 7-hitter, again, 103 strikeouts for him this season. They're going to throw it back to the plate. The throw is high. Game tied. Who's coming around? Everybody stops. Watson airmailed his catcher, Jake Sharrow, and the game is tied 1-1. Coaches say, like a broken record, if you put the ball in play, good things will happen, and the Wildcats just demonstrated that to perfection. Morales scored, Stanton to third, and now John Hopley is coming out, but got a feel for Watson there. He just tied this game up, not with a pitch, but with a throw succeeding a pitch. I didn't see anybody warming up for Pitman, so I think this is just a get your ducks in a row meeting for Hopley. Maple Shade with 1 run now on 5 hits. That last one will be scored in E1. However, with Mulcahy in the leadoff spot, he's 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. Now they've had some good hitters, but we're going to have to see how they can navigate it going forward. Here is Leahy, the first baseman. Strike called. Leahy, the junior, a 194 hitter this season. 8 RBIs, 7 for 36. There's another one. Leahy to be followed by Donia. That one's poked in the right field, a base hit. Here comes 1 run home. Umpire clears the bat. Everybody moves over, and Maple Shade takes the lead. RBI single, Eddie Leahy. And the Wildcats lead it 2-1.
Now batting number 4, Braden Donia.
So Donia is the batter. Back-to-back ribbies for the Wildcats. They keep the train moving along at the station. Everybody moves station to station. Bases loaded, 1 out. It's the 9-hitter Donia, who also had a single in the third. Strike called. I feel like Watson's got to get his groove back here. I think Pitman's offense, this has been a perfect 1-2 punch for Maple Shade, getting some offense, and then Stratton being able to shut him down at the bottom half of the order. Now Sharrow will go out and talk to Watson. This broadcast is brought to you by DAWG Pro Wrestling, the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators. They're New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. For more information on future events, you can visit DAWGProWrestling.com. After Sharrow and Watson had a quick debriefing, Webb and Donia will have the same. Again, Cole Mulcahy, the shortstop, who's 1 for 2 today, led off the game with an infield single, will be next. There's a ground ball. Put it in play. They're going to throw it to the plate. That throw is high. It's over the small. Oh, wow. Now everybody's going to go back. What happened here? They overshot him. That's 3. And Maple Shade, in the most unusual of ways, has taken a 3-1 lead. That's 2 errors. Now won by Drew Keefe. That's the second time somebody's been overshot. Now that scores Blum. And the first 3 batters who all reached, they have now all scored. And there's only 1 out. Mulcahy looking to keep the party alive. Foul ball, 0-1. That Maple Shade dugout's got a lot of life in it again. Looking to advance far. And again, like we said, a lot of Group 1 eyes are on this game because this is the only game in South Jersey Group 1 that's left to settle. Audubon and Buna played yesterday, same with Woodstown and Pennsville at the MSI complex, and then Glassboro-Shalleck. So we already know that Woodstown and Shalleck will be a 6-2 semifinal, as that one is low. And again, Maple Shade looking for a big turnaround after a first-round loss last season and a first-round loss in 2023 to Pennsville. That one's a ground ball. Stranahan boots it. He boots it. Run scores. 4-1. Maple Shade putting on a clinic, putting the ball in play. And this is unbelievable. The Panthers have committed 3 errors in this inning, and they have directly led to a 4-run spot. I mean, this is a breakdown of epic proportions here. An E1 off the bat of Stratton, an E4 off the bat of Donia, and an E5 off the bat of Mulcahy. It's 3 errors for Pitman. As Maple Shade, who earlier this week won their first playoff game since 2022 when they downed Gloucester in a 17-3 season, with an 8-0 record in the BCSL Freedom Division. In the dirt. Obviously it's still very early, but if Maple Shade were to win today, it will be their first time advancing to a sectional semifinal since 2019 in Webb's first season. 2018 was a 15-9 year under Keith Williams, where they lost in the second round to Glassboro, but 17-7 in 2019, beat Salem and Overbrook, lost to Shalleck in the semifinals. So it will be the first time since before the pandemic that they will have done it, but there are still plenty of obstacles to overcome. By no means out of the woods yet. Time called. I mean, I'm just very surprised here. 3 errors all in the infield. It's not like Maple Shade's been hitting the ball extraordinarily hard. It's just that they've been putting the ball in play. Swing and a miss there by Preston Carey. He is the 9th batter this inning for Maple Shade, and there's still only 1 out. 4 runs across. This is incredible. The Wildcats are letting loose. And there's a swing and a miss. It's 9 for Watson. The crazy part about this 4-run spot is that none of his runs will be earned against him. That's the crazy part. But we talk about ERAs and earned runs in the regular season. In the playoffs, all of that goes out the window. It doesn't matter how many earned runs you have, it's that you gave up runs. That one missed. Here's Morales. This is a dream for Alex Morales. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Looking to extend the lead for the Wildcats. Gets a fastball called a strike. There is an arm warming up for Pitman. Carter Snyder, the DH. I wonder if, even with not a lot of lefties in the lineup, if Kieran Clark, the freshman, is a possibility. Here's the pitch. 1-1 is fouled. Look out. That literally landed in somebody's backyard. Don't think they're going to get that one back. The umpire's coming out. Not sure what happened there. Well, Alex Morales, 2 home runs this year. One when our cameras were rolling versus Bordentown. Takes a big breath, and now locked back in. Foul ball that landed in another homeowner's backyard. He might be looking to send this one into the trees. It's outside, 2-2. Morales today, 0 for 1, a fly out to left and a hit by pitch that led off the inning. He is the 10th man for Maple Shade to hit. With a good crowd on hand, they're trying to stop the Wildcats. That's in the dirt. Deep backstop. Sharrow's got to play. Flips it. He is safe. 5-1. Leahy comes around. Pouring out of the dugout is the Wildcats. Two outs, 5-run rally for the Wildcats. And it's a full count with everybody moving up 90 feet. Donia on third, Mulcahy on second. Another one foul. Next up would be Stanton if the inning continues. Foul ball from the last pitch. Made its way back onto the field. Michael Webb's got to be feeling good right now. However, with how prevalent the Pitman offense has been this year, if they can attack Stratton this inning, maybe nothing more but a memory. Either way, it's still impactful. 5 runs, 10 batters, and room for more. In fact, indeed, fly ball to right. Austin going in. It's going to drop. 1 runs in. Here comes the runner. Mulcahy scores. This is unbelievable. The Wildcats have gone full wild. Sunglasses flying. Hats in the air. 7-1. Two-run single. Alex Morales. It is a 7-run inning for Maple Shade. Watson still in the game. I think they're waiting on somebody to get ready. I don't think they were expecting this. 3 scoreless innings. And now a ground ball. Cue shot off the glove. It continues. Stanton falls over first base. It's a base hit for Stanton, his second of the inning. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. And now John Hopley's coming out. Remember how we introduced the DWB trivia time in the top half of the inning? We're still in the top half of the inning. It's batter number 12 in Chase Blum, and it's going to mark the end of the road for Nick Watson. And if Pitman loses today, it would be a harsh way to go out in his last senior start. He's a heck of an athlete, and he obviously showcased it today. However, some defensive mistakes have gotten the best of the Panthers. Watson looks like he's going to move to shortstop, or at least somewhere in the infield. And Drew Keefe will grab the baseball from John Hopley as they play some musical chairs. Let's listen to this Maple Shade dugout. They're getting excited there. We'll be right back. Drew Keefe comes in for Nick Watson in the top of the fourth. Drew Keefe is the pitcher for Pitman. He comes into this game after Nick Watson just got shelled. It's honestly the nicest way I can put it. Maple Shade has put up a clinic, 7 runs. This is the 12th batter, Chase Blum. Dugout is louder than ever. Keefe, first pitch, inside. It's funny, I actually have to turn down the field mic because of how excited Maple Shade's dugout is. Here's the 1-0. Got to strike that time. Keefe, the junior right-hander, coming in at 6'2", 190. He's got a 1.58 ERA. 17 2/3 innings, 3 walks, 21 strikeouts. Morales was running. Fly ball to center field, and it's caught. Column had the back pedal, but man, what an inning for Maple Shade. They put up 7 runs and 12 batters, taking advantage of 3 errors in the infield by the Panthers as the Wildcats had to hold their breath on that last fly ball. We'll be right back. Jake Sharrow leading us off in the bottom of the fourth. Remember that trivia time thing? Yeah, we got to do that now. In the bottom of the fourth inning, let's actually reveal the answer for trivia time. Today's question is, who's the only player in MLB history to, who's the only switch hitter in MLB history to have 300-plus career home runs and a 300 or better career batting average? Is it A, Jose Ramirez, B, Francisco Lindor, C, Mickey Mantle, or D, Chipper Jones? Vincent Folk, you got a guess? It was not. It was, he guessed, if you didn't hear it, he guessed Jose Ramirez. The answer is Chipper Jones. One of the legends with our arch rivals, the Atlanta Braves. But honestly, the phenomenon of switch hitters has been very rare nowadays, as that goes under the glove of Stratton. Barehanded throw. He got him. Sharrow ran it out down the line. Morales with an incredible barehanded play. Just picked that one up and thought maybe Pitman would have gotten on there, but it's been too hot to handle today. As we said, Maple Shade sent 12 batters to the plate and scored 7. That'll be scored as a 1-5-3 ground out inside to Engstrom. After Pitman had a relatively small senior class in 2023, they graduated plenty of bright stars in 2024, including Stephen Devaney, who's at Immaculata, and Braden and Connor Sharkey, who are at RCSJ Gloucester. But now this senior class is leading the way with guys like Rue, Stranahan, and Austin. There's a strike called here. This crowd has just had basically just been hit in the head, basically, because it was a 1-0 game. Things were looking good. RBI single by Stranahan. Even Maple Shade was making some mental mistakes, and then what happened? It was 7 runs in the top of the 4th inning. Really has changed things up. Popped up over our heads. That was close. That was very close. I will not hesitate to send a bill. Should have hit it over the other fence in left field. That one is high. Engstrom drops the bat, and he's got to walk. So he's got a 1-out free pass. It is Stratton's 3rd. And it's actually his 2nd walk to Engstrom. So Collum will be the batter now. But I think the big thing here for Pitman, cannot be deterred by that 7-run inning. It sounds impossible, but crazy things have happened. I think about, a lot of times one of the biggest comebacks in Major League history. It was the Yankees and Red Sox back in 2012 on Sunday Night Baseball. Now, I'm not a Yankees or a Red Sox fan, but I remember I was like 7 or 8 years old at the time. I was watching it. I don't think it was actually Sunday Night Baseball. It might have just been a regular feature game on Fox, but Red Sox were up 9-0. And then Mark Teixeira homered out to left field, and the rest was history. Yankees got hit after hit after hit, and they just kept on hitting. They were up 9-0, the Red Sox, and then they lost that game 12-9. So Maple Shade's 7-run inning, like we said, they did everything that they could to swing that their way. And now Pitman's going to try to keep a very short memory. Column to right, it's foul. There's one away in the bottom of the 4th inning. We were scoreless for the first 2. Maple Shade went off the board in the top of the 3rd, and then Pitman got an RBI single from Aiden Stranahan, and then the rest is history. 3 errors by Pitman in the top of the 4th. The first one, I think, really was the reason why this game spiraled in the way that it did. I mean, Watson just had a simple throw to the plate and airmailed it. Never a thing you want to see, but it's high. And Stratton, a player who's normally a strikeout machine, only has 3 of them. Came into this game with 100 in this season, 162 in his career, and Watson beat him out on Ks. There's a ground ball out to Morales, right at the chest. Throw to second. The second baseman was late. The throw to first is not in time. They tried to turn a double play around the horn. It was just hit a little bit too slowly. And it will be a 5-4 fielder's choice. Now here's Carter Snyder, the freshman. The only freshman in the lineup today for Pitman. I mean, there were a couple of years where they didn't have any freshmen in the order, but now they're trying to change some things up. As, like we said, our next broadcast will be FC Monmouth versus Atlantic City on Saturday. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, the home opener for the Aces. Oh, they're going to check that one. Appeal. The umpire, I don't think, signaled anything. It's 1-0. Snyder definitely took a lot of effort into holding that one back. Just out of instinct at that point. Snyder bloops it. Left field. It's actually hit pretty well. It's going to get down into the gap. On his horse around second, going to third. His column, he'll hold there. And shockingly, Snyder never got past first base. That is going to be a long single for Carter Snyder. And if there's anybody that you want up in this situation, it's Hudson Rue. He bats here in the bottom of the fourth inning, down 7-1. So here's Rue. Again, the commit to Messiah University, a three-sport athlete for Pitman in football, basketball, and baseball. He's a .432 hitter, but one of the things that he's really amped up this season is the stolen bases. He's got 20 of them. Only had 4 as a junior. He's got 41 in his career. .432 hitter, 18 RBIs, 1 homer. Recently surpassed a 100 hit mark and 100 strikeouts on the mound. He's got 50 career walks. He's a career .362 hitter. And in 2 of his 4 seasons, I mean, he's been a consistent starter since day one as a freshman. Stratton is ready. 2 runners on. The pitch. At the knees, misses. Here's the pitch. Another one there. Rue fouls it back. Lands on the sidewalk. So here's Stratton. Settling in versus Rue. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Connor Stratton gets out of it. 2 runners on a walk and a single, and the inning is over. Maple Shade's looking to get back going. They lead at 7-1 after 4. Aaron Wells leading us off in the top of the 5th inning. Maple Shade 7, Pitman 1. Pitman got the first icebreaker with a RBI single by Aiden Stranahan, but then first of all, new pitcher is Hudson Rue. Drew Keefe came in for just 2 outs. And now Hudson Rue comes in for maybe some long-term relief as a ground ball out to Watson. Picks it up with ease. Throw to first is high. It gets away. That's 4. They'll send him to second as the throw goes out onto the street and bangs off the sidewalk. That is the 4th error by Pitman today. And could be setting up for another big inning as Wells will reach. And now here is Connor Stratton with a very good crowd on hand here at Joe Lang Field. You could see there, packed down the lines up on the grass berm. And then behind us as well here at the home of the Panthers. Runner on second for the Wildcats. Here's the first pitch to Stratton. He's going to show bunt. Now Rue is going to throw back to second, and the throw, they will say he is out. Webb is going to call time here because I didn't get a great angle of that, but so whether that call was correct or not, the runner is out at second, and Maple Shade still got a 7-run lead, so. Here's the pitch to Stratton. He's fouled back. Dugout went silent for a second as player slammed his helmet into the ground. They're getting a little bit loud again. Here's the pitch. Stratton over the pitcher's mound into center field for a base hit. So now Leahy will be the batter. With Stratton, the pitcher, they are going to pinch run or courtesy run with number 1, Kai Mattis. They actually let him step out of the dugout to give him a little bit of space, as he was quite upset there. Some of his teammates had to go out and talk to him. That's a bunt. Oh, that's going to land right in front. Here's Sharrow's throw. It's in time. Almost back picked to second. So Mattis to second. It is a 2-3 sacrifice. And there's 2 away. Now setting it up for Donia, the 9-hitter. Looking back at second. First pitch. Up and in to Donia, 1-0. Maple Shade with a bit of a more pedestrian inning after a 7-run outburst in the 4th. Watson, Stranahan, and Austin, 2, 3, and 4 for Pitman in the bottom of the 5th inning. Is that under the glove of Stranahan? Now into third will be Mattis, and Donia reaches. That's going to be 5, as that was a pretty simple ground ball too. This is, again, just a defensive, woeful experience that hopefully is coming out here. Let's listen in. So Maple Shade's athletic director, Mr. Diamond, was in the dugout, and the umpire alerted him of something after John Hopley came out. I'm not sure what that was all about, but basically all we heard was he's got to go. So I don't know if they're kicking a person or I saw a car parked on the side of the road. Not sure what happened there, but Mulcahy is the batter back at the top of the order. He's reached base twice on an error and a single. He's 1 for 3. Struck out in the third as a part of a 9-strikeout effort by Watson. For Watson, all 7 of those runs were done under his watch, and 2 of them will be earned. As Stanton was the first batter that Keefe faced. It's the third pitcher for Pitman, as Keefe came in as a very brief stopgap. Throw to first, not in time. Mulcahy to be followed by the Eastern commit, Preston Carey. Manning third base today for the Wildcats. Again, Mulcahy led off the game with a single in the top of the first. Now Rue tries to fire back to first. Yeah, Rue went to fire one and then held on, tried to get everybody off their rocker, but that's something you do when you're down by 6 runs. You have to think about creative ways to get batters and base runners out without throwing the ball. Curveball, they throw back to the mound. They try to steal and score, throw back to third, is not in time. So a lose-lose situation. Rue didn't get the strike call, and the runner went down to second. Donia. Kymaz at third, Donia at second. Two in scoring position, chance to extend the lead for the Wildcats. Fastball hit out towards right center, left center field. It's up there for Column. It's up. It is caught, and the inning is over. Rue has a scoreless 5th, and some trickery tried to get him out of it as a base hit and 2 more errors are recorded on Pitman's stat line. Going to the bottom of the 5th, 7-1. Nick Watson is the hitter in the bottom of the 5th inning, leading us off for Pitman. What a weird game. 7-1 Maple Shade. They score all 7 of their runs in the top of the 4th as they're going to look to keep the momentum going on the defensive side, as Pitman committed 2 more errors in the top of the 5th inning. I'm still not sure what John Hopley asked for of the home plate umpire. Not sure exactly what went down over there, but either way, first pitch to Watson is inside, and if there's a group of 3 batters that Stratton might not want to face, it's these 3, Watson, Stranahan, and Austin. That one is low. These 2 head coaches pretty similar in terms of their tenure with their current teams. John Hopley taking over after 2020. This is his 5th season. And then for Mike Webb, this is his 6th, joining the crew in 2019, taking over for Keith Williams. Again, like we said, a decent amount of South Jersey Group 1 eyes are on this game because this is the only Group 1 quarterfinal remaining. The semis will be on Tuesday, June 3rd. There's a strike called. As again, Watson with 7 home runs this year. As a cloud comes over the field here and blocks out the sun temporarily. That one's high. Stratton has 3 walks. He has 4 strikeouts and got out of a big jam in the bottom of the 4th inning that got 2 runners on for Pitman, but it's the swinging 3, 2, 3, and 4, Watson, Stranahan, and Austin. And again, to be followed by Drew Keefe, the second baseman. That one's low, and Nick Watson will get a free pass. It is Stratton's 4th walk. So here's Stranahan, the commit to Camden County. Stranahan's going to drop his bat, and he's going to go talk to John Hopley. This day has also been pretty weird. When the sun isn't out, it feels actually a little bit cool, feels a little bit fair. But then as soon as that sun pops back out, it feels like we went straight to summer. We skipped spring. Wasn't it a couple days ago with 50 degrees? Yeah. I don't understand it. Just a couple of days ago, it was 50 degrees. Popped up. This one is going to go out of play. Stanton chases, look out. Parents were ducking and covering. By the way, a little bit of an update on our schedules for next season. We'd like to announce that our football schedule will be announced on July 1st. We will not be doing a selection show this year. However, due to logistical issues, we will not be doing a selection show. However, I can say that we have 29 football games scheduled, including 4 in week 0 from August 28th to August 30th. So we're going to be in some special places this year. That one's ripped foul. And who did that hit? Minivan? Okay, so not you or me. I'm the idiot for parking in the front row, yeah. It's the splash zone here at Joe Lang Field. Although the same problem exists at Alcyon too. Here's the pitch. Up and in. Stranahan has to shimmy away from that one. One and two. Oh, 2-1. Okay, my bad. Scoreboard's not on here today at Joe Lang Field. So I have to trust on my trusty producer to keep track when I eventually go off into a rambling conversation. Okay, so we got confirmation from the umpire. So both of us were wrong. were not perfect. Stranahan fouls it back. That minivan almost got hit again. Somebody needs to start putting a bubble around it. Like one of those like inflatable bubbles that you can put your car in if you've got a nice car and you're going into the woods or something, you don't want pollen on it. I've seen it. They're expensive, but it's a host of bad car accessories that exist in the world today. Count us 3-2 here to Stranahan. Dealing with a runner on first after a Watson free pass. That one is outside, and Stratton running into some trouble here. It's his 5th walk, which, again, it feels like Nick Watson and Connor Stratton, prior to the 4th inning, basically swapped lives. I mean, you know, Stratton wasn't getting all of the strikeouts that he usually does, and then, well, Watson was getting all of them. Struck out 9 Wildcats in his 3 2/3 innings campaign. But now Austin is the batter. Stratton delivers. Swing and a foul tip. 0-1. Again, the winner of this game will play Audubon, the number 1 seed, who beat Paulsboro in the first round and beat Buna in the second round 4-0 yesterday. Yesterday we were at Rutgers Camden covering non-public B between St. John Vianney and Paul Sixt. Flied right field side. This could stay up. It's out of play. By the way, a final from South Jersey Group 4. Kingsway down 12 seed Cherry Hill East 14-2. I'm kind of glad that we backed out of that game then. Ryan Golan had a 3-run home run in the first inning. That was supposed to be the first end of a doubleheader. Strike called. Austin down on strikes. 1 away, and it's Drew Keefe. But 2 walks in the inning could make a difference for Stratton here, and it also could make an impact on how long he stays in the game. Yeah, that game was a 5-inning mercy rule. Foul tip again. That's how Austin's at-bat starts, and that's how Keefe's at-bat started as well. Stratton looks over. And the pitch. That's lined center field. That is going to split the gap. That is over everybody's head. Absolutely scorched. Watson comes in. Green light from Hopley. Stranahan all alone. He scores. 2-run triple, Drew Keefe. And the Panthers have been woken up as Keefe goes for 3/4 of the way. And Sherrow will bat now with 1 away as the 2 walks indeed come around to bite. And Michael Webb will come out and talk to Connor Stratton. So Sherrow, who had a fielder's choice and a ground out, he's 0 for 2. So just Stratton and the catcher Stanton with Mike Webb. A little bit of encouragement there. It is now 7-3 as 2 runs came across. Watson and Stranahan scored standing as Keefe got in the third. By the way, some more updates as here's the first pitch. That one is low. In South Jersey Group 4 second round, number 1 Cherokee beat Howell, the number 8 seed, 10-0. And then over at Rutgers Camden in the 14 versus 6 game in Group 4, Vineland beat GCIT 4-0. GCIT, oh, that one hits off of him. Throw to the plate. He's not in time, and the run scores. And Keefe comes in on a passed ball that looks like it hit Stanton right in the chest. And then it bounced away right towards us. That's why I kind of froze up for a second. But Keefe comes in to score, and it's a 3-run inning, 7-4. Yeah, Delsey and Shawnee underway from Rutgers Camden. 2 games being played there today. And actually, we have an update. 4-0 Shawnee over Delsey in the top of the 4th inning. That's South Jersey Group 3. So Pitman cutting the lead here. And most certainly making it a lot harder for Connor Stratton to stay in this game long term. Sharrow's got a walk. That's his 3rd walk this inning, 6th total. And after the 2-run triple, a 3rd came home on a wild pitch, and now the cycle starts again. Here's Engstrom. Engstrom has not had an at-bat in this game. He's 0 for 0 with 2 walks. Here's the pitch. Strike called on the inside corner. Got a little bit of the upper and inner half of the plate. Here's the pitch. 0-1 is lined. It's off the glove. Can he tag the bag? The infielders collide. They're going to say that Sharrow is out, and there's 2 away. How do you score that? I'm not even sure who picked up the ball. I think Mulcahy did. He just bobbled it and then kind of ran into Preston Carey. So that is going to be a 6. It's going to be I think that's just going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. But a very weird one at that. Sharrow is out. Now it's Column. 2 outs. Pitman reinserting themselves into this one at 7-4. Ground ball, third base. Morales bobbles it. Throw to first, though, is in time. And they were able to rebound, unlike Pitman, as, well, they've only got 1 error in this game. Pitman has 5. And now Pitman takes advantage of some free passes to get back in this one at 7-4 after 5.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Well, in the top of the 6th inning, this game feels a little bit more doable now. It's 7-4. It was 7-1 after a 12-batter, 7-run barrage by Maple Shade in the top of the 4th inning. Pitman has responded in tow. They scored 3 runs. Jackson Austin, or check that, Drew Keefe, slugged a 2-run triple into the left center field gap, and that one's way high by Rue to Carey. It's Carey, Morales, and Stanton in the top of the 6th inning. But all things considered, Pitman scored their 3rd run on a wild pitch, and then that's all she wrote in the bottom half. So 7 for Maple Shade, and the 7 you see on the bottom left of your screen is all from one frame. As a ground ball out to Watson. He picks it up, throw to first is in time. One away as Carey's retired. So here is Morales. Again, the power slugger facing Rue here. One of the rare feats of 100 hits and 100 Ks in his career with the Panthers. He's headed to Messiah University for 2025, 2026 actually. RJ Bozarth is warming up in the pen in the makeshift bullpen for Maple Shade. Strike called in the inside corner, 0-1. Morales looking to stay focused and drive the balls. That one's down, 1-1. Morales batted twice in the 4th inning barrage, had a 2-run single, the last RBIs of the inning. Popped up. Oh, look out, Vince, look out. He caught it. All right, I was a little bit of a fool there. That was right over my head. I thought that was going my way, but Sharrow makes the catch. I would take one for the team, but the equipment has to be protected. Can't put a glove on the equipment. It's a strike called. 0-1. Here's the pitch. As Rue working quickly. Got a quick 0-2 count here. And this is where Pitman can really insert themselves here. 3 runs in the bottom half. A quick inning to keep their energy kind of swirled up and congealed together. And then they'll bat 9-1-2 starting with Snyder. Late swing. Chopper. It's fair. Throw to first is in time. Oh, he got hit hard. Engstrom got leveled. Engstrom got hit hard with the runner in the baseline. The inning is over. Everybody's walking off the field. Jude Engstrom trying to figure something out. Ron Myers, the assistant, coming out. I'm not sure what happened there, but I don't know if Stanton got into Engstrom or if Engstrom was maybe standing over there, but could be the start of some fireworks here. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 7-4. John Hopley had a very heated discussion. He was just talking to his team, and before that he was talking to the home plate umpire. He was saying, we can't be having this. That's what he said, but a very tense conversation. He, first of all, while we were in break, had a conversation with the second base or the infield umpire, I presume, about whatever happened at first between Stanton and Engstrom. But yeah, things could get a little interesting here. We'll see how they manage it. And I'm just going to say this very quietly. The umpire just asked what inning we were going into. Did you hear that, Vince? He said, "Are we in the top of the fifth or the bottom of the top of the sixth?" And he said, "We're going." And the Maple Shade coach responded, "We're going to the bottom of the sixth." And that is correct, but I want to know what union he's a part of. I'm saying that very quietly because we are close to the field of play. Here's Alex Morales, the pitcher. Snyder with a big swing and a miss. We got fooled because we saw R.J. Bozarth warming up down behind us, and we thought maybe he would come into the game. He only had 3 innings pitched this season, but Morales coming in. He's got 38 innings pitched, 57 strikeouts, and a 2.03 ERA. Time called. So he just said ball 2, but it counts 1-1. I'm not sure what was it. I think it was some kind of violation that was called. They're calling another illegal pitch. I think Webb's trying to figure out what part of. Okay, so they're saying his foot is not parallel. So Webb isn't really arguing. He's trying to get an explanation. Let's listen in. So I think Morales also has to get an explanation as to what he's doing wrong. I mean, he does have a very forward-facing delivery. The word we're hearing a lot is parallel. They called 2 illegal pitches on him. I will say I've seen Morales pitch with the exact same delivery in the 2 games we covered this year, and that hasn't been called. His delivery is the exact same. So we're going to see how that will work. I can't say I've seen that before, but Morales was charged with 2 illegal balls. Let's see if he gets this one to stick. That one's high. It's 3-1. So, again, they charged balls 1 and 2 in the at-bat to Snyder due to an illegal motion. Line drive. Fair. Left field line. Just inside the chalk. Illegal pitch or not, Snyder makes them pay. It's a base hit on a 3-1 count. Snyder's second hit of the day, and now Rue is the batter. So now Hudson Rue is the batter. We go back to the top of the order. It's his 4th at-bat of the day. He's 2 for 3. He's got 2 doubles and a strikeout. And this is his first at-bat versus Morales. Here's the pitch. So I'm still a little bit confused on what they called against Morales. Obviously it was called an illegal pitch, but I think that the root of it was that he was taking a step back during his motion, which I think got some people in a bind. Here's the pitch. Popped up, back over our heads. Oh no, it's right next to us actually. I was looking in the parking lot and it was right there. Just joining us at 7-4 in the bottom of the 6th. Stanton went to chase it, but obviously it landed out of play. Morales versus Rue. Has that deep, really has that deep delivery where there's pitchers who duck down. He kind of bends over at a 90-degree angle to get what he needs. And again, he's got a lot of confidence in him. Here's the pitch. Ground ball. Another fair ball. Right left field line. It's going to hook. It's picked up and left. That's back-to-back hits to just stay fair by the skin of their teeth. And Morales, who's got a 2.08 ERA going into this penultimate appearance in the quarterfinal. Again, with both of these teams preparing for a potential trip to Audubon on Tuesday, June 3rd. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Watson took maybe one of the most violent swings I've seen in a while. He's got an 0-1 count. He's got a strikeout, 3-1 ground out, and a walk. Webb delivering directions to Morales. Looks back a couple times, and the pitch. Inside. Watson is the tying run. The on-deck hitter, Aiden Stranahan, would be the go-ahead run if Watson gets on base. 7 home runs this year for the senior. The transfer from St. Augustine. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Stanton's got a chance. Crashes into the dugout, and it's out of play. Landed just beyond the roof of the first base dugout hosted by the Wildcats. 1-2 here. One ball, 2 strikes. Morales versus the slugger who started this game, and after a 7-run inning by Maple Shade, now looks to dig himself and his team out of it. Here's the 1-2. Crushed, but foul. Oh, my goodness. That landed up on the berm. There's an abandoned kind of tractor trailer, it looks like, up there, and it almost hit that. With the woods of Gloucester County sitting behind them, and it's the backdrop for today's game. The tying run, Nick Watson, the 4-11 hitter, swings and misses. He got him, 1 away, and now that baton is turned over to Stranahan. 5 outs remaining for the Panthers. This is going to be very, very interesting here for Stranahan. I mean, he doesn't have the same kind of swing as Watson does, but he's still got a good bat. That's why John Hopley puts him in the 3 spot. He wouldn't if he didn't believe in him. He's got a home run this year. His first career home run came at home versus Woodstown. 20 RBIs this season, 27 for 73, a 370 hitter this season, 333 lifetime hitter. 7-4 game. Stranahan the tying run with Snyder and Rue on base. 2 singles this inning. Inside corner, called a strike, 0-1. He'll be followed by Jackson Austin, who's 0 for 3, 2 flyouts and a strikeout. And again, 2 Region 19 JUCO commits. Stranahan taking his talents to John Scanzano and Camden County next year. That one's poked. It's into right field for a base hit. Hopley's going to set himself up here. The right fielder boots it, Stratton. Here comes the throw into third. They're not going to have a tag. That ball gets bobbled. Stranahan's going to try to go to second. Nobody's covering. It's an RBI for Aiden Stranahan. They're hanging off the dugout at 7-5. Situational hitting here for Aiden Stranahan. And Pitman, after a short period where they looked down and out, have made this a 2-run game with 2 runners in scoring position. Stranahan moved up to second. Rue on third. Snyder scored on the base hit. This game could be tied with a bloop single by Jackson Austin. (7-5). Wildcats in front here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1 away with the cleanup man, Austin. Austin takes a pitch way high. It's into straightaway right field, though. Stratton's got it. Here comes Rue. He'll come in to score standing. It's a sacrifice fly, and it's a 1-run game. It's 7-6. Can you believe it? Pitman, maybe 45 minutes ago, was preparing their travel plans for a weekend off, but instead, they could be planning a trip up 55 to Audubon High School in the Hank Greenberg Field on Tuesday, as the tying run is on third base. Here we go, 7-6. Austin 0 for 4, but now has an RBI to his credit with a sac fly. They have to get a hit here with Keefe. Two-run triple his last at-bat. I was surprised that Austin did anything with it. I mean, that was a high fastball up right around his collarbone, and he swung at it and got some good distance down the right field line. Inside corner, 0-2. Next would be Jake Sharrow, the catcher. For the Wildcats, Blum, Wells, and Stratton in the 7th. Swing and a miss. Some clouds coming overhead. I'm hoping that it's not what we think it is. Here's the pitch to Keefe. Again, got another one way high. Look out, pickup truck, and it lands again in another person's backyard. It's 7-6. Maple Shade leads here. They led by as many as 6 runs with a 7-run barrage in the 4th. It's been their only offensive output in this game. Here's the pitch. That one's high. And if Pitman wins this game, you're thinking about, man, we could have made that one so much easier, but it's 7-6. With a 6-run comeback waiting in the wings, depending on how this goes. Alex Morales versus Drew Keefe. Morales set and delivers. Fast slider low. The count is full. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Morales, if he misses, can put the go-ahead on base. And Keefe, if he swings and misses, could send this to the 7th in a 1-run game. Inside, ball 4. It's a walk for Morales as a slider missed in. Again, Stranahan still the tying run on third. Here's Sharrow. Sharrow with a fielder's choice, a ground out, and a walk. Hopefully he's trying to argue a balk. So Stranahan forced a step-off move and hopefully wanted a balk called. I didn't see one personally. Inside, 1-0. Although that move really could rattle Morales here. It's a 7-6 game here at the Joe Lang Field in Pitman in a 5-4 matchup of South Jersey Group 1. All other games in this bracket were decided yesterday. Audubon beat Buna, Shalleck beat Glassboro, and Woodstown upset Pennsville over at the MSI Complex in Upper Chichester. Sharrow takes outside. Keefe gets down to second, but Stanton doesn't get a throw. Now not only are the tying run at third base, now the go-ahead is in that position as well. Morales delivers. That one's hit out towards left field. It's straight away. And the inning is over. It's brought in. Pitman gets themselves back in it. They get an RBI single by Stranahan and then a sac fly to right by Jackson Austin. They've got 3 outs to tie it. Maple Shade has 3 outs to bury it. It's 7-6 going to the 7th.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Michael Webb talking to his man Chase Blum as Hudson Rue still out in the top of the 7th inning. This game seemed pretty much done and over with in the 4th inning, maybe even in the 5th inning. It was a 7-1 Maple Shade lead, but Pitman has reminded us all that baseball isn't over until it's over. This isn't like basketball where you can go up by 30 and start packing your things up. This is a game that is ruthless and unforgiving. I think about Maple Shade's game in early April versus Burlington Township. They played a 22-10 game, which included Burlington Township scoring 19 runs in an inning. I'm not making that up. 19 of the 22 runs that Burlington Township scored, I think we went over this at Trenton when they played Holy Cross, was quite literally in the 6th inning, I think it was. And the game ended in 6, 22-10. Rue facing Blum. Curveball, strike 3, called at the knees.
Now batting number 13, Aaron Wells.
So Wells is the batter. Blum strikes out. It's the 10th staff strikeout for the Panthers. As Wells, he'll be followed by Stratton. Most important thing here for Maple Shade is insurance. Obviously, we would say that in the 7th inning of any one-run game. However, it's even more important here because Pitman has some kind of momentum on their side. 3 runs in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. You can see what's coming. You can see the train. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it might be an oncoming train. That is if Maple Shade doesn't score here. Because I think if Hudson Rue has a quick 7th inning, this is setting things up perfectly. There's a ground ball, base hit in the center field for Aaron Wells. Gets another hit for the Wildcats. And a 1-out knock back up the middle.
Now batting number 23, Connor Stratton.
Now Connor Stratton is the batter. He was the one who started that 7-run barrage in the 4th inning. He had a little tapper back to Watson. Watson overthrew his catcher, and the rest is history. 3 more errors happened by the Pitman infield. They've committed 5 errors today. And if there's any lesson learned, win or lose, that's going to be a base hit in the right center field by Stratton. That's going to get past everybody. Collum had a bad route. Webb is waving him around. Here comes the throw. It's on the line. It is safe, safe. RBI double. Connor Stratton. He may no longer be on the mound, but he's helping out substantially. It's 8-6.
Now batting number 9, Eddie Leahy.
Well, that just poked a hole in everybody's sails here. It's an RBI double followed up immediately after Wells' single. Here's Leahy now. 8-6. Maple Shade got their most needed insurance run. Strike called. Good fastball from Rue. Not sure what position Rue will play at college yet at Messiah. Usually if you're a two-way player, unless you are a phenom in either side, or one side is better than the other. I mean, I would argue Rue is equally talented at both pitching and hitting, 100 hits and 100 career strikeouts and a 350-plus career hitter. But it's one of those things where, you know, like with Alex Argabright at your sinus, you know, for Seneca, where are you going to put him? That's the part of the college process. Sometimes have to find out the hard way. Leahy went. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Leahy steps back in. Stratton, the pitcher and now right fielder for Maple Shade after Alex Morales came in. Rue looks back, delivers. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. He got him. Leahy down on strikes. And that will be the 2nd out. So Sharrow and Rue will now talk. One of the things that I noticed, Leahy and Donia appear to be sharing a bat. Because usually you have somebody in the on-deck circle come out and switch bats, but he just handed it to his teammate. It's interesting. I don't see a lot of high school teams do that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Morales getting loose behind the bullpen, preparing presumably to pitch the bottom of the 7th inning. Again, they made some defensive changes to get there. R.J. Bozarth came in to third base. Stratton moved from pitcher to right field. There's a ground ball in the cue shot on the hit and run. It's going to be trapped by Watson. Now the throw to the plate. That is safe. He's in there. 9 runs for Maple Shade. It's 9-6 as Stratton scores. He definitely got his leg in that time. Definitely was able to tell. So Donia is going to have another RBI.
Now batting number 6, Cole Mulcahy.
Now Mulcahy is the batter. It was a 1-run game, and they were 90 feet away from tying it. Now it's a little bit more convoluted. It's a 3-run game, 9-6. There's a strike called. Strike called. Mulcahy steps back in. He's got a single, a strikeout, an E5, and a fly out to center. That one skips away. So here's Mulcahy. A 1-2 count. He's the sixth batter of the inning for Maple Shade in a 2-run frame. Runner goes. Hit and run again. He got whammed in the ankle. Tried to swing out of his shoes, and he swung into his shoe. Still 1-2 here. Next would be Preston Carey, the second baseman. Again, the commit to Eastern. Not sure of any other college commitments on this Maple Shade team at the moment. Here's the pitch from Rue. Oh, he got jammed. It's a half swing. It's going to drop. Keefe overran it. The throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. Maple Shade is 3 outs away from pulling off a 5-4 seeding win and a trip to Audubon. The Green Wave might want to do some filming on them because, well, they beat Maple Shade 21-3 when they played in the regular season. The playoff brings regular, or I should say regular baseball to the table, and it brings conventional baseball out the window. It's 9-6. You can see Coach Webb there talking to Alex Morales earnestly, hands on his shoulders, a smile, a hug, and a task. We'll be right back. Do or die. This is what dreams are made of here. This game has had many twists and turns. Started out with a 1-0 game in the bottom of the third inning as Aiden Stranahan got an RBI single. Maple Shade responded with an inning of a lifetime. 7 runs in the top of the fourth inning. And they held that lead, and they have held that lead. However, Pitman has given them maybe the most fair run for their money you can ask for. 3 runs in the bottom of the fifth, 2 runs in the bottom of the sixth, and they were 90 feet away from tying it. But a 2-run inning in the top of the seventh has made this path a lot harder. It's inside to Engstrom. 7, 8, and 9 for the Panthers. Engstrom, Collum, and Snyder. Morales in his second inning of relief. Again, for Maple Shade, 3 more outs would mark the first time since 2019 during Webb's first season that they would make a trip to the semifinals. Engstrom hit. So here's Column. Again, there have been some issues with walks and hit by pitches. There's been 2 hit by pitches, and Ackerman's going to run for Keefe. Because Keefe is not a pitcher, Engstrom. Because Engstrom is not a pitcher or a catcher, this does count as a substitution. And a good hand from the Pitman crowd. And like we said, the rule is you can re-enter the game once as a starter. So there you hear it. Ackerman, again, is the runner at first base after Engstrom was hit. Engstrom's reached base all 4 times, but none of them with hits. 2 walks, a fielder's choice, and now a hit by pitch added on. Home plate umpire stepping out. He's just going to get a drink of water. And we'll get back to it. Seems like every time we cover Maple Shade, it's a long ball game. Bordentown, 2 hours, 46 minutes. Holy Cross game at Trenton Thunder, 3 hours and 8 minutes. And then this one right now sitting at the 2:37 mark. But that one's popped up, foul, and on to Woodland Avenue. But Maple Shade with 2 runs in the top of the 7th, aided by an RBI double by Connor Stratton and an RBI single by Braden Donia. Morales ready to go. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back, barely tipped it off the barrel. Column ready to go. Morales throws the first, not in time. During Webb's first season, he went 17-7, 6-2 in the BCSL Freedom. They beat Salem 6-1 in the first round, and a pop-up. Morales over. Leahy's got it, and there's one away. They beat Overbrook 13-4. And then lost to Shalleck in the semifinal 8-3. And actually, it would have been 6 years ago yesterday, May 29th, 2019. And again, that was after Keith Williams stepped down after the 2018 season. Webb has been the head coach ever since. But the last time these 2 teams played, DWB was there. Maple Shade and Pitman in May of 2023, that's a base hit over the middle. Snyder out of the 9 slots, got a hit. Ackerman to second. And now it's Hudson Rue. Don't count out the Pitman Panthers just yet. The freshman, win or lose, has been relentless. 3 for 4 with a strikeout in his first at-bat. Are they going to have another pinch runner? Looks like it. Hopefully coming out, they are going to run for Snyder. It will be number 16, Logan Williams. Williams was a defensive-only asset in left field, and now Williams comes in. So again, after Snyder's base hit, Hudson Rue is the batter. The top 3 for Pitman all have hit the long ball this year. Rue and Stranahan with 1, Watson with the anomaly of 7. Rue 3 for 4, 2 doubles and a single. Morales is set. 2 runners on, 1 away, and the pitch. Up and in. Rue is the tying run. And he's barreled up the ball well. In fact, Stratton's first pitch that he threw with a line drive into the left center field gap by Rue. He did not score. He was the only hit that inning. Swing and a miss. Rue with 2 doubles, one in the first and one in the third. A single in the 6th inning is a part of the 2-run frame. Stranahan had an RBI single, and Austin had a sacrifice fly to right. Rue, fly ball, right field side. Stratton going in. It is caught, and everybody holds. And the Wildcats will start to hold their breath. Here's Nick Watson. This is why the playoffs are so great. Seasons continue and end right here. One team will get in their cars and buses and go home with a smile. The other will go home with a frown. Pitman, of course, has been a mainstay in the South Jersey Group 1 scene for a long time now. It's been 15 years since their Group 1 championship in Toms River back in 2010. And Maple Shade, as we said, has been waiting for 6 years. They've had a handful of quarterfinal appearances. They've, in the last 2 years, have had back-to-back first-round losses to Pennsville and Woodstown, respectively. And now they're 1 out away from advancing to Audubon on Tuesday afternoon. Strike called to Watson at the belt, 0-1. If Maple Shade wins, they would go to 13-9 on the season. Pitman would fall with their final record to 16-9. And Hopley's 5th at the helm. Watson 0 for 3. Fouled back, and it's 0-2. So a quick foul ball there. Some phones are out on the grandstand side beyond the dugout. And even Bruce Diamond is enjoying the moment, looking for the first semifinal appearance in 6 years, and looking to down the Panthers as the 5 seed, with a date with the mighty Green Wave set for a long weekend's break. Watson takes a step back after Morales steps out. Two runners on. Hit by pitch and a single this inning. Here's the 0-2. Morales delivers. Fouled back again, and we stay alive. Again, our next game will be Atlantic City FC on Saturday tomorrow versus FC Monmouth. And a couple of foul balls here by Watson. The difference between a win and a loss right here. 2 runners on, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Morales shakes off Stanton. Silence falls upon the crowd. He shakes him off again with the old school communications. Now Morales steps off. I mean, we've seen a lot of times the pitch comm system. Maple Shade is not using a pitch comm. Stanton's doing it the old-fashioned way. And they're 1 strikeout. Morales, 0-2. Ball at the knees, 1-2, and we stay alive. You just felt a collective shift of the air in the room here. There's a lot of inhaling by the Maple Shade personnel, by the fans, and by the players alike in and off the field. Morales is ready. Looks back at second for Engstrom. The 1-2. Swing and a miss! And the Maple Shade Wildcats, for the first time in 6 years, pour out of the dugout and have a date in the Final Four of South Jersey Group 1. They win it 9-6. 2 insurance runs in the 7th was all it took. And a 9-6 final down the Panthers with Connor Stratton and Alex Morales, the 1-2 punch. And that's the final score. Maple Shade goes in and they defend a 7-1 lead, and they never looked back. A strikeout by Watson ended it after a couple of valiant foul balls. And that's where the road ends for the Panthers. Final season of 16-9. And Maple Shade, all smiles. They're headed to Audubon on Tuesday night. They're running out to right field, but not in fear, instead in jubilee. We'll talk to the player of the game, Connor Stratton, in just a moment. We'll be right back as Michael Webb and John Hopley having a quick conversation behind the plate there as everything wraps up. But we're going to be right back. Man, what a game. 9-6, Maple Shade wins it. here at Joe Lang Field. You're going to take one more step, sorry.
Yep.
We've got Connor Stratton, our player of the game, presented by DAWG Pro Wrestling. What a game for you guys. First semifinal trip since 2019, since Coach Webb's first year, and you had a good outing on the mound as well today. You did everything that you needed to for your team. How did you feel out there today?
You know, it felt good. It felt great finally being able to put it together all as a team. There wasn't one guy who had a bad day. There wasn't one guy who had a great day. We all had good days, and it came together in the biggest spot that any of us have ever been in.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is not easy. You were supposed to play yesterday night, and then it got moved to today, and then it got moved to a different field. That mound also does seem a little bit high. So, you know, working with that can also, you know, kind of mess you up a little bit. But either way, you guys have had a very odd season. You know, you got off to a bit of a slow start, and then you pick up a lot of wins. You beat Doane Academy. You beat some great schools out there, and then you beat Clayton in the first round of the playoffs. Going into this game, you guys were down 1-0, and then you score 7 runs. What's that mindset for you when you score 7 runs and you see what your offense has been able to do for you and give you all that run support? You know, what did that mean to you for your team to back you up?
You know, it feels good because what the story of the season for me has been, I've had good starts and run support just doesn't come, and it's great to see when I'm struggling a bit on the mound. I don't have my stuff that I normally have, and the guys pick it up for me. You know, we play the way that other teams play us when we're down. We took a down game from them. We turned it into something magical for us.
And, well, Pitman didn't make it easy for you either. 3 runs in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and it's a 7-6 game. And then you come up looking for insurance, and then you help yourself out, get an RBI double there. Looked like the ball had gotten down, and then their center fielder took a bad route to get there. But this is such a huge win for Maple Shade. Even though it's a 5 versus a 4 game, it felt like so much more than that. And the atmosphere here was just incredible. Going into the number 1 game on Tuesday versus Audubon. You've played Audubon before. Didn't go the way anybody would want it to for Maple Shade. What is the team's mindset going into Tuesday?
That's an example of one of our bad games, errors, not swinging at good pitches, and just leaving things that can easily be put into our hands just on the field and not taking what we can get. We have to take exactly what we did today, go into the next game, and even give it a little more. Instead of those good games, we need better games. We need above average from everyone. Up and down the lineup, pinch runners, guys in the field, guys who are DHing, anything. We need everyone there, and I think based off of the morale for today, how we felt going into this, knowing that this is going to be a tough game, we all knew that we were going to come out on top, and we all played like we knew because no one hung their head, no one did anything wrong. We just need to do the exact same thing next week, and I think we can do the same thing we did today.
I actually 100% agree with you, Mr. Stratton. Thank you very much. We're going to do a little DWB tradition. We're going to have you sign the bottom of the scorecard. Just make it nice and big on the bottom there as your player of the game. 5 innings on the hill, got a couple of Ks, got 1 run allowed, but more importantly, got the insurance run that the Wildcats needed to win the game in the top of the 7th. There you have it. All right, don't miss that bus. Thank you very much, and have a good weekend.
Thank you, sir. You too.
All right. That will be all for us tonight. What a game it was for Maple Shade. They win it 9-6 in a game that I didn't know where it was going to go. Pitman ended up going down by 6 runs. Maple Shade put up a 7 slot, and then how about it? Pitman came all the way back, but just short by 1. A 2-run 7th did them in, and a Nick Watson strikeout ended the game. Their season will end at 16-9 as this was a weird weekend in general. We were supposed to be at Alcyon Park under the lights, then it got shifted to here, then it got shifted to a 2 o'clock start. Not exactly in that order, but either way. This has been a very weird last couple of hours, last 48 hours for us with how the rain has been, and now clouds are starting to come over this field as well, which could make a bit of an interesting plan. But either way, tune in tomorrow for our first ever pro soccer game. It's FC Monmouth and Atlantic City facing off at 3 o'clock tomorrow from Stockton University. As that'll be all. Maple Shade, they are cheering for days on that bus behind us. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane and Carson Rosso, my producer, Vincent Vogt, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow in Atlantic City. Have a good one, folks.